So Arsenal have managed to qualify for the Champions League. I guess that's a big reason to celebrate if this was 2012. But we are in 2025 and yes, Arsenal are through to the into the Champions League, but that is simply not good enough for the squad that we have. We have now completed 3 seasons of second place, and you could only think of the missed opportunities throughout this entire season. What could have been, what should have been, what must have happened, but there is only what has happened at this moment in time. Now, if we were to just go into the game, I thought Newcastle did all right in the first half. They had a lot of shots. It was very nervy, but we've got to give credit to David Raya. He did really well to have some of the saves that he had. He kept Arsenal in the game, and after we weathered the storm, it was more of the case of just killing off the game, making it extremely boring, just keeping the ball, and then eventually it was Ødegaard who got the assist and Rice who managed to get the ball at the first time finish, and he scored it from outside the box. And with 9 goals and 10 assists, we can comfortably say, and that's only in the league, that Rice has had a very good season. He's done what he needed to do. It would be nice to get double in his figures, but you know what, credit to Declan Rice. He's had a standout season. We'll know this season for him scoring those free kicks against Real Madrid in the first leg, but he has done very well, and I'm very happy about the interview that he had afterwards, which I will touch on in a second. But if we were to go through the rest of the players, I thought that Martinelli was seeing a lot of the ball. I thought Trossard was getting a lot of the ball, and it seemed like we were focusing on getting the ball to the left hand side than the right hand side, and I just thought that overall we missed Merino. We could clearly see that, and we put Martinelli down in the middle, and it felt like that we were trying to copy PSG and Luis Enrique and put wingers all over the front three, because that's what they did with Dembele. And it makes you think, what if we put Martinelli down in the middle a lot earlier on in the season? What could have been in that scenario as well? But overall, I thought they did all right. I think for Saka, he did help out with the goal, but I thought he could have done a bit more in this game. But in my opinion, he shouldn't even be playing after an injury like that. And with the scar that he has, he should be resting. And we must be thankful that there's only 1 game left until essentially the end of this season. And I think that with Partey, I think he did okay in my opinion, but I think that a lot of the reasons why Newcastle were able to get on the transition and counter-attack on us was because our midfield was not containing it, if that makes sense. And I think Partey should have done that a lot more. I think Ben White looked a lot better. He looks back to his usual self. It's a bit late, but what can you do? I thought Lewis Kelly was Lewis Kelly, and it was strange to see Saliba get subbed off in the first half. I hope he's not injured, but it was good to see Calafiori play the centre-back role, because for me, that's why I originally saw him, and he kept bombing forward quite a bit. He has an urge to do that. He really likes coming forward, but I don't know, as a defender, I would much prefer you staying back, performing the defensive side of things. But overall, it's good for him to get some minutes, I guess, because let's be honest, with Calafiori, it's not been a good season for him. He's had some good moments, but that doesn't mean you've had a very good season. And for Miles Lewis-Skelly to come in, who was essentially a nobody before this season, especially someone who came through the youth team, it's a bit embarrassing, to be honest with you, and Calafiori needs to get his place into the team some way, somehow. But that's going to be another thing for itself for next season. And yeah, I think other than that, overall, it was a good professional game. We weathered the storm in the first half. Rice got the goal, and then after that point, it was just keeping the ball, containing, and just seeing out the game. And it was good to see Kai Havertz come back. But let's be honest, I mean, Merino was doing a very good job up top, and you can see there's clear differences between Kai Havertz and Merino, and Kai Havertz was being a little bit clever with some of the fouls he was getting. Although when I saw Jorginho come onto the pitch, I was a bit annoyed with the fact on the way he was trying to get fouls, because he tried it twice to get the referee to give the foul, but the referee wasn't doing it. So if you don't see it the first time, you got to at least read the room and say, you know what, the referee's not going to give it, I just got to stay on my feet and just keep playing. But that was for Jorginho. But it was weird seeing Kai Havertz on the pitch, I've got to be honest. I thought we wouldn't see him till next season, but you know what, with the amount of injuries and suspensions we have, we got to play the rest of our games somehow. But yeah, overall, it was, as a game, it was good for Arteta to get one over Eddie Howe. Funny enough, they were actually speaking about in the game, record between Arteta and Eddie Howe was actually even. 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses between them both, and now after this game Arteta has the upper hand. But I think for this season it was just a good thing that Arsenal were able to get a win over Newcastle when it wasn't 3 for 3, because that would have been extremely embarrassing, because usually I'm used to seeing Arsenal just falter away. But it was good that we were able to get a game back and just win, even though ultimately in the grand scheme of things it doesn't amount to much, and it was just good in that sense. But we have to remember that this is a Newcastle team without Isak, and if Isak was there then maybe they would have scored some goals in the first half, because they did have many chances. But look, a win's a win. We've got the minimum amount of points to go through to the Champions League next year and hopefully keep second, and I think we've kept second in the next games against Southampton. But overall, what I really liked about Declan Rice after the match was in his interview, he was honest. He said that this was a poor season and it was not up to our standards, and he did say the Champions League did play a part in it. But I think as a squad and as a club, you got to be competing for all competitions. Yes, I get it, the Champions League, you got far in it, very far. You got to the semi-finals, and it's the first semi-finals in God knows how long, but it doesn't mean that you walter away in the league. And for Arsenal to be 72 points after 37 games is simply not good enough. It's been a disaster of a season. We should be at the bare minimum at this stage at 80 points, and Liverpool have around, if I'm not mistaken, 2 to 3 games left and they're on 83 points. So for us to be so far away from Liverpool and not even be in this title race and not even get to 80 points, it's really astounding and bad. And if I were just to talk about some of the draws that we've had, 14 draws, winning positions, we've lost by 21 points. There were a lot of missed opportunities this season from all facets for this club, and it makes you think, what the hell is going to happen next season? What's going to happen in the transfer window? And when are we going to have a goddamn full squad where we don't have to worry about these things? Now, there's been some rumblings about Arteta and Berta, and you can tell the transfer rumours have already started to heat up. But what I think I'll do is I'll talk about it in another video. But what I will say is, for this game, it was a better professional performance, I'd say. I think it was good all around. I think that for the next game, because we've pretty much secured Champions League and pretty much second place, I want to see some new players come on. I want to see Ethan Ranieri, probably give Sterling an opportunity. There's no point playing Saka and the rest of these guys because this is our final home game. There's no point going to Southampton and playing all our main team because there's no point. We've literally secured Champions League, we're second place. There's not much else to play for other than pretty much pride and just ending the season on a high in the next match. And it's funny because Arteta didn't come out, or the club didn't really come out and give a rousing speech like they did last season. Maybe they've learned not to increase everyone's expectations, but the problem is that everyone's expectations are high because of what we've seen in the past and what we've come to expect and what they've said and what the standards of this football club should be, which is essentially to challenge and to win, especially win at this stage, because so much time has been given, so much energy and money has been spent. So it's only right that the Arsenal fans should have high standards, and we should get a major honour, for God's sake, after all this time and waiting. But overall, we saw the new kits come on. I thought the kits were nice. It reminded me of the 22-23 kit, if that makes sense. Just change gold to red and that's essentially what you got. But overall, good game. I'm happy to have seen what I've seen, but you know what, it's just too little too late, and this whole season is just a what could have been. But overall, that's the end of this video. I know there's been a lot more views of my videos lately, so hopefully like and subscribe to hear more content. I'll be getting more content out hopefully, and it should be an interesting summer as well, being linked with the 20 billion players that Arsenal are always linked with. But anyhow, that's the end of this video. Hope to see you all soon. Bye.